Hey, hi Gautam. Welcome to our weekly podcast here at Spark Capital. As part of our weekly podcast, we've got Gautam Singh here with us. He's our lead economist at Spark. Gautam has come out with a very interesting note on the manufacturing sector in India. Gautam and his team have traveled over 1,000 kilometers, and they visited over 250 industrial clusters. In the process of writing this report. So welcome, Gautam, and why don't you take us through your journey of writing this report?
Hey, thanks, Alex. So we started this journey from southern part of the clusters. So we started with Coimbatore. We went to Tirupur and Shri City down south. Then in the western part, we covered MIDC, Maharashtra, Pune, Chakan, which is the automobile belt, and then we went to Gujarat for Vapi cluster, which is in chemicals, and the Morbi, which is the tiles hub. Then we went to up north, where we discovered some of the interesting takeaways from Saharanpur, from Shamli, from Noida Electronic City, and Panipat, which is the textile hub. So these are the major clusters which we covered during our trip. It was a 5-member team, and we were there on the road for 10 days, and we covered almost 1,000 kilometers around this trip.
Wow, 1,000 kilometers, 5 members. So Gautam, tell me a bit about the history of this. I mean, this is the third edition of this report, right? Years to the ground. So why don't you take me through the history of how you came about writing this, and what was the reason that you wrote this report in 2022, the next third edition?
Right. So we started this theme in particular in 2016. That is the first time we wrote about manufacturing activities in the country. Then 2019. But to tell you that, when I came back from my 2019 trip, the situation was completely opposite what we came across this time around. It was a very pessimistic scenario, over there on the ground. But this time around, when we actually did this, and that's why this, meeting the same sort of SMEs, same sort of entrepreneurs actually help you, because we know in what situation they were back in 2019 or 2016 and what they are talking about today. So it is a completely changed scenario today.
And you also got like the current perspective post COVID. Like what's the on-ground scenario post-COVID right now? Right? That must be fascinating as well.
Absolutely. So what happens is, some of the findings are actually even a big surprise for me, though I've been doing it regularly. For example, SMEs talking about that they are running at 100% capacity is
Correct.
Something else in this country. In the last decade or so, we haven't seen this kind of situation, because in the previous trips, let's say in 2016 and 2019, most of the things you will hear that we are running with 40%, 50% utilization.
Correct.
We have to fire people to actually keep afloat. This was the kind of scenario. But today, when they say that we are on the lookout of fresh piece of land to expand the capacity, that tells you something about what's going on in manufacturing in this country.
And what's happening in UP? I've been hearing a lot of great noises coming out of UP. So
Well, to be frank, Alex, earlier we didn't plan to go to UP, because when it comes to industry, UP is not the name which comes to your mind.
Correct.
But we were forced to go, because when we were interacting with industrialists in Maharashtra, in Tamil Nadu, in Gujarat, what they told us, that if you really want to get the momentum, you have to go to UP, because a lot of us are actually opening our new plants, new factories in UP, and that's where we decided to actually go to UP. And we were totally, stumped to see the kind of progress on the ground. We have, if I tell you that there is a far-flung area in UP which is Shamli, it's a tier 4, tier 5 town, and there is this SME who has imported 5 robots from Japan in the last month.
So they have set up a manufacturing, a mini manufacturing setup in Shamli in UP.
In UP, and they are actually going after, exports, or they are going big.
Wow.
They're importing robots. Tells you the story that the kind of thinking these manufacturers in UP have. One thing which is helping UP growing in the manufacturing space is the peace dividend, basically, which we talked about in 2018 reports. Where that we talked about UP will come out of the shackles of Bimaru state. So that is what is happening. The infrastructure situation has improved. We have better roads now over there. The law and order situation, which is improved completely, that is, I think, helping them get these manufacturers to UP.
Correct. So UP clearly on the upswing. And I was also looking at your key learnings, and I can see that Europe plus one is the new sort of emerging theme in all of
Right.
this that you're. So why don't you spend a couple of minutes there as well?
Yeah, so we were surprised when manufacturers were saying that we are running with 100% utilization and we are expanding. So we said, what is happening? Right now,
Correct. Why is this happening?
Why is this
sudden
happening suddenly?
thing to India, right?
So what we figured out that there are 2-3 things which are at the crossroad today. So we have one anti-Chinese sentiments which are playing out. So that is helping the Indian manufacturers win order from outside. Overseas players are inquiring with manufacturers in India that whether we can supply the same product which they used to import from China. So China plus one is definitely helping. Second is import substitution. So SMEs or OEMs, for example, Tata Motors or Maruti Suzuki, they want to source their product locally today. So that theme is actually helping Indian manufacturers.
One constant concern has been the quality, of what you manufacture, right? So anything that you've heard that is kind of, allaying these fears and putting us out there with these global market leaders?
Yeah. So another interesting change which is happening in the manufacturing landscape is a lot of these SMEs and manufacturing units are being run by the next generation. And their style of doing business is totally different than what their father used to do. Their father would, let's say, run to the bank to deposit the check. That was the kind of. Now they have a professional running the plant, running the factory for them, and this has de-choked their bandwidth. So all they are doing is they are thinking about business development. So they are looking for opportunities which are coming their way, and they are cashing on. So one thing they realized that quality was not up to the standard.
Correct.
For that, they are importing those CNC machines which are there in Australia, in Europe, in China.
Mm-hmm.
They're importing the same machines which are there in Germany, and they are getting them here in India. And if you go and visit any ports in the country today, you will see a lot of these machines are being imported, and they are actually heading various parts of the country.
Clearly, Digital India is also sort of benefiting at the grassroots levels because the younger generation is taking up to the newer processes, I believe.
Absolutely, I think this is a very very important moment in the manufacturing state.
Yeah.
If I would say that this is the India is at the same juncture where we were in 1991. This will not be too much.
Big statement to make from Gautam. Thank you, Gautam. I think that's been a very very insightful sort of research into what's happening on the ground. Thank you, Gautam, for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone. This is the weekly podcast from Spark Capital. Please log into sparkcapital.in in case you want to hear more of these podcasts. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.